What's up, everybody? What's going on? What's going on, people? I feel like I should probably get my AirPods. Hello, hello. What is going on? Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. Hey. All right. Our special guest has arrived. I'm going to allow people to come on in here because I don't want you to miss anything. I see you, Tremaine. Hold on one second for me. Everybody come on in. I'm super excited about this conversation. Definitely a necessary conversation as we go into 2023. Making sure that we are prepared, we are budgeting, we are doing the things that we need to do to get ready. All right. I'm going to give us a few more minutes and I'm going to bring up our special guest. Yes. Okay, what's up, Coach K? All right. Come on in. All right, we're going to get started. So I am super excited. I am Jada D, or Jada Davis, and I'm really excited to get back into it. I got my mojo back. You know, life has been lifing, but here we are, and we are ready to rock and roll. We're ready to end 2023 on a positive note, and I'm excited to share my network of qualified, vetted, top tier, exceptional professionals that are in my professional network. And so today is the first of many and what you can expect of so much to come. What's up, Camille? And so I'm really excited to introduce and bring forward someone that is near and dear to me, someone that I work closely with because she manages my money. So I trust her. So I obviously trust her to come bringing the power, the knowledge that is. And before I give you her spiel and bring her up, I just want to first say that, you know, right, going in 2023, we're going to be focused on a lot of things, but the primary focus and destination is destination execute. A lot of people have great ideas, but don't know what to do with them. And so really looking forward to helping you all get paid. You know, that's what I do well. I show you how to get paid as an income strategist, as a mindset coach and strategist, as an executioner. I want to show you how to be your best self in whatever that is, whether it's your personal brand or your business brand. I want to show you the strategies that I have used, that my other customers and clients have used, that have been proven to take you to the next level. So, and part of this means we have also rebranded the podcast. So the podcast formerly known as Cup of Grind is now Take Flight with Jada Davis. And so if you haven't already, make sure that you follow us. And so follow me over there as well. There will be a lot of content there. And that's also where you'll be able to get updates. And so where I'm looking for guests, I want to be able to interview and connect with other networks and with other communities as well. So looking forward to you all following me at Take Flight Jada to get more details of the podcast. So without further ado, let me bring my girl up, Tremaine. Okay, because this is a bad sister right here. Okay. All right, Tremaine, come on up. Come on up.
Am I here? Did we do
You
it?
are here. Yay. You're here. I'm so excited.
Listen, look, first of all, thank you. You are like one of my favoriteest people ever. I was over here clapping. I'm over here like, yes, Take Flight. That's a great name.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yeah, I'm super excited for tonight's conversation.
Perfect. So let me give her a spiel. I'm not going to tell everything because she has a lot to say and a lot of information to give us, but I do want to do my due diligence and share with you all a little bit of her bio. So Tremaine Wills, MBA, is an investment advisor, tax strategist, accountant. She is the owner of Mind Over Money, a registered investment advisor firm, and she focuses on helping ambitious Black entrepreneurs manage their personal and business finances. Tremaine is a certified financial education instructor and is passionate about building wealth in our community. I don't know how much more I'm gonna say, but I do have to say this part because I see a million somewhere. I see a dollar sign, a million. So let me tell that part too. You know, with her education background, this passion has led her to create and build the Four Comma Collection, which is a community focused on helping 1 million entrepreneurs grow their invested assets to 1 million over the next 20 years. Come on, y'all, a million. Hello. So, without further ado, Tremaine, thank you for being here today.
Look, thank you. I so appreciate you, and I probably could like sing your praises for days and days and days, but it's just refreshing to be in spaces where people just get it. You know, the power of collaboration, the power of extending networks, sharing information, just like working together to lift other people up. So like, thank you for bringing me on this platform and just, you know, sharing this space.
I would listen anytime. Here to do it because we are what greater together. And I know that I didn't get here by myself. Everything that I am and everything that I do is for the betterment of my people. And so, you know, want to give a shout out to my business bestie, Ashley Harlan, CFO extraordinaire, for introducing me to you and making sure that I was in good company. And so, you know, making sure that you have people and community, people that really match your grind is so important. And so I'm grateful for her for connecting me with you. So to kick it off, I like to keep it a little light and fun. So like when you were growing up, what did you want to be? What did you want to be growing up?
Rich.
Come on, Rich. Hello? Okay. Don't we all?
Yeah, but that was the biggest thing. I wanted to be a track star. When I was younger, I ran AAU track. And so I wanted to be a rich track star because I was like, I'm fast. I'm gonna be in the Olympics. And then I didn't stay fast for long. So that Olympics dream died down. Yeah, but I wanted to be rich.
Hey, I'm not mad at that. And look, here you are. Look at you now, okay? So thinking about, you know, you wanted to be rich, right? So having that mindset as a child, what was your relationship with money and finance when you were growing up? Like as a child, what was their relationship like?
So we didn't have it. And I think that's what really attracted me to want to learn about money because I was so sick of hearing like, do you got McDonald's money? And no, you can't have that. And just like all of the different variations of no, can't, lack, like it would tear me apart that like I felt like there was something more for me, but all the messaging I was getting said I couldn't have it, right? And so for me, it was like figuring out, okay, well, I have all these talents and stuff. I know how to make money. Money. I had y'all don't laugh, okay? I'm about to tell y'all something.
Okay.
So when I was 12, I learned how to braid hair and I was really good at it. My mom, she made me business cards and my business was called Tame Your Mane, Braid by Tremaine, okay? Like I was a beast with the braids, right? And so I knew how to make money. It was not a problem. My issue was I did not understand how to build wealth. So as quickly as I made it, I was going out and buying all of the things like LED belts, my name on everything, like had to have it. And so as quickly as it was coming in, it was going right back out. So the biggest thing for me was figuring out, okay, how do I transition from, I know how to make all this money, but I got to go right back and do somebody else's hair because I done spent it all. So that's kind of what drove me to figuring out like how I don't got to work, but still have money.
No, listen, I feel like, I know that's a personal goal for mine. A lot of people are shocked to learn when I say like, I don't want to work ever, actually. But I understand it's something that I have to do. I think I told you that when we were first just talking about my goals. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I do it and I just happen to be really good at it, but it's not something that I actually want to do. So, you know, I think a lot of people, especially considering the last few years and then just life really happening for a lot of people in good and bad ways. You know, we've really had to think about like the next few years more strategically and really think about it with true intention. And so, you know, we're in a recession, right? So, and we're also, in what I've read, it's some of the busiest shopping season we've seen in the last few years. So, what advice do you have for people as it relates to managing money while also still enjoying this holiday season? Because a lot of people are trying to enjoy this time. They want to live, you know, they want to have the experience of living for a living. But how do we do that while we're also literally in a recession?
Yeah. So I'm gonna say this a lot tonight. But it's really staying committed to the vision.
Okay.
There are gonna be recessions, there are gonna be bull markets, everything is gonna always change around us. But one thing that we have to do is stay committed and stay focused no matter what's happening around us. Because if we allow our environment to dictate our emotions and, you know, we continuously change the plan, we'll never reach the destination. So it's important that whatever plans you have in place, you stay committed to those. And if you need to modify and make adjustments, you do that, right? But I like to tell people that I'm not participating in a recession. What is meant for me is meant for me. And people make money in recessions.
Absolutely.
Period. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide the services that I provide. I'm going to help the people that I'm called to help. And I will continue to thrive in this time. So we have to not succumb to the fear messaging that, of course, people are going to lose jobs, yes. But some of the greatest entrepreneurial ventures come out of periods where you have to figure it out, right? So if you're committed to the vision of whatever your goals are, it doesn't matter how you make the money. Your job can change. You can become an entrepreneur. You can change jobs. The alignment of executing and completing that thing you set out to do, it doesn't matter how the money comes. So just staying focused, I think, is what the biggest piece is, and not getting so caught up on like the intricate details of how it happens. The how will change. The big vision, that shouldn't change at all.
No, that's real. So you talked about something that I think is important, which I wanted to hit on, which is, you know, what a lot of people are feeling. I mean, just today, I think DoorDash laid off 1,200 people. And so, you know, when I checked this data a couple of days ago, it showed that at least 130,000 people this year alone have been laid off. So what would you say to people that are getting maybe a severance? And like what budgeting tips can we do for one, to prepare for the worst, but then also, what would you say to somebody to leverage maybe a severance package and they're not sure what's next? They are applying for jobs, but maybe that's not the route they should go. What would you say to them?
Yeah, this is good. This is really good. So the first thing is to really understand, like, are you living above your means? For many of us, when we step into higher paying jobs, namely making that transition into the tech space, it's the most money we've ever seen. And so naturally, we're like, ooh, upgrade everything, right? I'm getting a better apartment. I'm getting a better car. Like, I'm getting better clothes. I'm getting better everything new, right? But what we fail to do is stack that emergency money just in case or when stuff hit the fan. And so what we should be doing right now is, the reality is you could lose your job tomorrow. But no matter what, you should have emergency money set to the side that if you do lose your job, at least you don't have to worry about covering your bills for the next month, 2 months, 3 months while you figure it out. And that's something you can do right now. So no matter how secure or comfortable you feel in your role, you definitely have to have that safety net, right? It gives us some sense of security, right? But we know ain't no real security unless you got that piece, baby. That's a whole nother conversation. But building that emergency fund so that you don't have to worry about the financial stress of what happens when that income is not coming in like you expected. So that's what I would do. I would take a moment to check to see what my expenses are and be honest with yourself. Like, are you living above your means? Should you really be in this $4,000 a month apartment when you're really only making take home $8,500? Like,
are y'all listening? Are y'all taking notes? Okay.
So it's having this honest conversation. our ability to generate more income is great, but the rate that our expenses increase should not keep up with that, right? We want to keep our expenses level so that there's a gap between how much we're bringing in and how much it's costing us to live. So that's the first thing I would do in this time, is really just take a real inventory. Like, am I spending more than I should be for real, for real? Just to, just to keep up the perception. So.
No, that's real. That's very helpful. So Ebony asked, how much is a safe amount to have in an emergency fund?
Okay, so traditional financial services says 3 months of your living expenses, right? But statistically, what we're finding is if you have $3,000 saved, it really doesn't make that much difference for having 3,000 and 15,000, because the emergencies that come up typically can be fixed with $3,000, aside from like home ownership type stuff, right? But like flat tire, you need to get some work done on the car, like that kind of stuff, typically can be fixed with about $3,000 in your savings account. So, but the real answer, if you have to quote me, is 3 months of your living expenses.
Okay, fair enough. And so that's one of the things that I've been working with Tremaine on. Is that's one of my goals, is to have a solid emergency fund ready. Just, you never know what could happen, right? And so being prepared, and as she mentioned earlier, I'm making more money now than I've ever made in my life. And the first thing I said, when I secured my role was, God, please allow me to be responsible, right? And so don't allow me to like mismanage this blessing. And so part of that was hiring her. And so I'll be dropping a link so that you all can connect with her as well a couple of times during this conversation. But then also when it comes to the budget, it was like, okay, how much do I really need? And then I wanted to go a little over that because, and I also do it, Tremaine knows I have like 5 accounts because I'm irresponsible. So I have my money coming straight from payroll.
You are not irresponsible.
If I didn't have auto, I would be. The conversation would be different. So if you have to have it, I say all that to say, if you have to have it automatically set up from your payroll dispersion, do that. That's what I do. I have the money going to my bills account, to my savings account, to my play account. Like I have it going automatically because I've learned that if I have to transfer it, it may not get transferred properly in the right way. And so that's just something that has always worked for me. I want to go back to when we were talking about shopping. So one of the more popular things that's been going on in Adobe's recent data report, shoppers are using the buy now, pay later platforms a lot. Okay. They're using them a lot. What are some things that people need to be mindful of if we use these options? Because we're going to use them, as you know.
Listen, you still need to budget for those bills, okay? Like, paying it forward, you still got to pay for the whole thing, though. So I think for many of us, what we're doing is we're splitting up the payments, and then we're tripling, quadrupling, 10xing how much we spend. So, like, and then you forget 2 weeks later, another payment coming out. You're like, oh, snap, I forgot, right? And then you do that 15 times. Like, no, you can't pay for rent. Like, no. So I would try to use the same rule. Like, if you are fortunate enough to be able to qualify for Afterpay and, some of those programs, if there's no interest rate, like, still pay attention so that you're not overspending. But if you using these things and it's charging you interest, you're not saving money.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very mindful of like your personal finances and if this is something you really should be using, because this is like a credit card on steroids. Like it makes the intention of splitting it up is so that people increase their cart value, right? This is psychology type stuff that sellers are using. Because, I can get this $100 thing for 4 payments of $25. Like, well, I got $60 right now. Let me get $60 worth of stuff right now and worry about it later. Like, the intention is to get you to spend more. And so if you know that going into it and you ain't have the full amount to get started, like maybe we shouldn't do that, right? So sometimes there are reasons that you might want to use installment payment plans if the thing you're buying is going to bring money back into your home. then okay. But if I'm paying in for on Shein and Lulu and Miss Lola and all these, like, and I'm saying these so freely because like I know these stuff, right?
Yeah.
But you got to be mindful that the intention is to get you to spend more, and you are falling for the trap.
Yeah. Touche. Listen, I was thinking about. I had Tremaine in my head. She don't know. I was like, yeah, I don't need that. Okay, I'm not gonna buy that. I thought about it though. I did think about it, but I've seen what can happen if you don't budget for it for sure. So, I always preach, quote unquote, preach about having multiple streams of income. I do. I mean, I'm a firm believer in it, and I believe that one of those things can be a job, right? A job that you love, that you are able to thrive in, and that you enjoy. And so, for my new and aspiring business owners, what should they keep in mind financially to set them up for success? Like, could be like a separate bank account or things like that. What would you say to them?
First things first, keep that job. Okay? Like, yes. And even though I'm a full-time entrepreneur, one of the things I wish I did was figure out how to stay in my position longer so that I could have stacked up more money before I took the leap. Society and like this hustle culture will make you believe that you should just go out and be a full-time entrepreneur, and baby, no. Because when you are financially insecure, it forces you to take on work that is not in alignment, and then you got additional stress. Like, nah, then you can't operate the way that you want to operate because you have to do stuff for money, and that's never how you want to build a business. So like, I had to go back and unalign myself and like get out of certain relationships because it was not the way I wanted to serve, because I was moving too fast and hopped out into full-time entrepreneurship before I was ready. So my biggest thing is, like, if you are listening to this and you are in a position that gives you flexibility, like you got your benefits, it doesn't drain you, you are still able to show up for yourself and build your business on the side, stay. Because that will help you accelerate building your business or your passion or whatever it is faster, and help you retain some of that sanity because you're not stressed about the money. So that's my first thing. But aside from that, you need to have a separate bank account. One of the biggest things that we're facing is seeing like commingling of funds. And what that means is you're mixing your personal assets with your business assets, and that's not good, right? When you are getting started, it's really great. Even if you can't have, like, I like to teach the profit first strategy where you have, a couple different accounts in your business. But even if you can't get to that advanced level yet, at least one bank account specifically for your business that all the money comes in and all your expenses come out of is like the foundation of what you need. You can graduate to having like different accounts that do different things through your business, but the bare minimum, you need a separate business bank account, and that's going to require you to get serious about the business and register it. So that's where I would start.
Okay, cool, love it. That's awesome. And so for those of us, I'm not. Somebody may be listening, like, I'm not even there yet for a business. I have an idea. I'm not ready to even start on that right now. I just want to budget my personal funds. What should we keep in mind when it comes to like making sure that we have a budget that really works for us?
You got to get honest about what you care about. Your budget is an extension of you. It's an extension of your values, what you believe in. And so where you spend your money, that's what you're saying you value. And so one of the things you want to take into consideration, like, go back and look and see what you spent your money on, like last month, the month before that. And if those purchases are not in alignment with what you say you value, what you believe in, then you need to make changes. So one of the things I encourage is that everybody should have part of their budget that is for them, right? I don't believe in creating budgets where they're incredibly restrictive and there's no fun, because then it makes the journey miserable. And I don't believe that we are designed to be miserable, to go to work just to put money in an account for some future use 700 years from now, right? There's somewhere along that continuum where be responsible, but also live your life. So if if you believe in abundance and you believe in like being your best self, there should be something in your budget that allows you to be your best self. And for everybody, that's a different thing, right? So it could look like monthly massages, or it could look like, I like to go skating. So that's something that I pay for, right? But whatever that thing is for you, build it into your budget so that your budget is an accurate reflection of the things that you value.
Yes, correct. So like one of the things that I have been doing since, I mean, when I was making $27,000 a year, $36,000 a year, I've always had a travel fund. Like I've always had a travel fund. I've always had a line item for travel because that's something that I value. I put that over buying new clothes or new shoes, you know. For a long time, I was a thrift shopper and probably still would if I had found one I really like in my area. So I think that that's really important to identify like what we really care about and be honest about that. So that's, love that. Beautiful. So one of the things I usually do on my podcast is I like to talk about a mogul Mount Rushmore. And so if you have 4 people that are alive that, you know, really influence you as leaders, business leaders, whatever, personal, who would be your 4?
This tough.
I give you this one in advance.
Yeah. All right, cool. So one, I gotta get with my man Warren. Warren Buffett, definitely on my list, right? Well, one, because of course he's an investor. I'm an investor, but he just does it so well, right? Like my guy is good. So he's on there. My sister Rihanna, like, she not giving me no music, but the pivot into product-based business, like leveraging her stardom, it was genius, right? Who else? My mogul Mount Rushmore. Dang, I really don't want to just name a bunch of billionaires, but like,
I mean, you want to be a millionaire when you was a child, so
you right. I gotta put Robert Smith on there too. Yes, oh, Pinky Cole on the way.
Tell me more.
Slutty Vegan.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. I pick her too.
I love that she's on there. I love that.
Yeah, I pick her. But I pick her because I was listening to a podcast and she was talking about why people should get famous, right? Because attention is currency. And like, I mean, I feel like a lot of us know this now, right? But when you want to accomplish a goal, sell a product or a service, like, people need to know who you are. And when you have popularity, fame behind you, it's so much easier to get that done, to move people, to rally them behind your cause. And so I think for me, and I'm about to like probably share TMI right now, but for a long time, I had like these subconscious blocks around fame and around wealth, where I was like unintentionally rejecting those things because I thought they were inherently bad, right? Wow. And so I had to like do some work to heal like why I thought those traits that have like, they're not good or bad, they're just things, why I was like associating those qualities negatively. And I'm like, man, like, being wealthy is not a bad thing. You know, being famous is not a bad thing. It just amplifies who you already are. More people can see like who you are. And I'm like, if I'm going to be doing good work and I want to partner with people doing good work, people need to know who I am. Like, being famous is not necessarily negative. So yeah, I had to like teach myself to stop shrinking because I didn't want people to know me. Like, it was a lot. But
I'm glad you did, because
yeah,
I know what God has for me, and it is grand. Okay, it is grand. So yeah, I'm not ashamed to say that I know that He has amazing things for me, and I want all that He has. I want all of it. I don't want a small portion. I don't want a little bit. I want everything. Okay. Love that. I'm glad that you came to your senses. Okay. I love that for you. No, I love that. Rihanna, Warren Buffett, Robert, Pinky. That's perfect. So, what books would you recommend for people that it could be in financial, it could just be mindset, whatever. What are some of your books? Your favorite books?
Okay, the first one, by Rachel Rogers. We should all be millionaires.
Of course.
Okay. It's on par, right? It's very much on brand. But not so
Absolutely.
much because it's about money. It's just about teaching you to value yourself so that you start asking for what you're worth. And especially as a Black woman, I need us to stop lowballing all that the amazingness that we are. Every single Black woman that I have worked with has been above average, charging below average prices for exceptional results. And I'm not yelling at you right now, but because myself is included in this, right? But we have been conditioned to believe that we have to compete for the bottom, and it's crowded at the bottom, right? It's not a race to be the cheapest, especially when you got receipts to show how phenomenal you are. And so reading that book really helped me identify that, like, no, what I do is great. I add value everywhere I go. Like, I have one of my affirmations that I say is everything attached to me wins. And Jacqueline Carr, all her lyrics be part of my affirmations. Anyway,
are you preaching, Tremaine? My goodness. I mean, for real. Jeez.
But no, if we truly believe that everything attached to us wins, how dare we lowball our prices and our rates? Like, if I'm coming in and I know I deliver an exceptional service, there is no reason for me to, accept pennies and Dollar Tree prices. Like, no, we're not doing that. So just making that shift and changing the way we look at money to not be just like this paper, but allow us to have the impact that we want to have. Like, we got to go deep, y'all. We got to go deep. I'm not going to take us to church, but.
But we're already there. I mean, at least it's passing the plate. I mean, we're there. No, listen, this is good. And everything you're saying is absolutely where I am now. I think that, I mean, I've even had the ebb and flow of really just recognizing, and I have continued to raise, my prices, not just because, like you said, with intent and integrity of, no, I have proven results. I know exactly the value that I add. Something that you have, that you have probably heard me say, and other people have heard me say that you'll continue to say is, I am the magic. So it is not a mistake, or it is not a surprise that, yes, I produce the results that I produce. And so my pricing is going to reflect that. And so thank you for the reminder. I hope that those that are listening got a reminder too, whether it's in a job that you're working or a business that you're building. Know that you're the magic, and know that, yeah, the price is the price. Okay? Period. The price is the price. I love it. So, one of the, as I have gotten, more strategic in my planning and my budgeting and just kind of getting things together, what are like just top of mind tips that we can carry us as we prepare for 2023?
The first one is you need to have a goal for what you want the end of 2023 to look like. And so what I mean by that is there should be a destination that you want to get to by the end of the year, right? So I know for me, by the end of 2023, I'm trying to touch $1 million, like in the account, sitting there, right? And that doesn't just happen because. And if you have really big goals and vision, you have to be strategic about that before the year starts, instead of like, halfway through, yeah, I did want to do that thing. Like, there has to be some sort of vision that you're trying to get to, and there has to be a plan for it. So I think for many of us, we got content with, I'm making enough money, it covers my bills, I'm good. But that's not enough. Like,
yeah,
you have to be pushing to something greater. Otherwise, you stay complacent and you get trapped in this wheel. And we can't have that, right? Ultimately, you should want to not work. But if you don't have that in your plan of how it's going to happen,
yeah,
you're not going to get there, right? And so a lot of us, you know, if you're a millennial like me, you're young, it might feel like you have forever, but baby, 10 years going to go by quick. 20 years going to go by real quick. And next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, I got to play catch up, right? So the biggest thing to go back and answer the question is, what do you want to happen by the end of 2023? And then how are you going to get there? What are going to be the steps, right? So maybe, you know, your goal is, all right, I want to finally pay off these student loans.
I don't, but anyway, go ahead.
Right? Maybe you're like, you know what, Uncle Joe not gonna make it happen. Let me just pay off this $15,000 that's left. All right, cool. How? Right? And then you can be strategic about building that into your budget so that the decisions you make are clear. The goal is to pay it off. So if you'll come up against something where it's not in alignment with the goal, the answer is no, because that wasn't the goal, right? For many of us, there's no goal. So of course we get indecisive because we don't know where we're going. But if you know that, all right, the end of the year, I'm going to have $25,000 saved, and people keep coming up to you with reasons for you to spend money, and you're like, I can't decide. No, you said you wanted to have 25 saved. So the answer is, if I don't figure out a way to make some more money, I can't do that, right? So you got to get committed to some sort of, look, Ebony, I want Uncle Joe to wipe the slate clean too. I just had to think of a quick example, but we got to have something we're going after, right? Instead of just casually going through the motions. A lot of us are losing because we're being casual with our future.
And you're not preaching. Okay. So I want to talk about something that, you know, the end of the year, with the end of the year comes taxes and tax planning. And I'm not going to go deep into that, but I have one question that typically comes up, especially when you think about entrepreneurs, whether full-time or part-time, is the people trying to write everything off, right? And then also wanting to show that they're profitable. I'm like, no, I am in business. And can we talk about that, especially because I want to shout out my sister who is a realtor. Camille closes real estate. She works with a lot of entrepreneurs, and a lot of challenges they have when they're trying to buy a home is they don't have the records to show that they were actually profitable and made the money they said they made because they wrote everything off. So let's talk about that.
Okay, first things first. I need us to stop following broke people on social media. Okay? Because it's really only the broke people that's telling you to write everything off. Like, and there was a viral video that was going around on TikTok where the one guy was saying he paid himself $500,000 a year, and the girl came up and was like, ain't no real entrepreneur doing that. Yes, they are. We are paying ourselves because we need to be able to qualify for capital so that we can get other assets. Like, I can't get a loan from the bank for $1 million and I made 10 grand on paper. Like, what? So, yeah. I mean, and this is, let me pull it back, right? All of us are on a journey. And there was a time where, myself included, I was like, yes, write it off. And then I go back and I'm looking, I'm like, oh, I don't qualify? Well, LLC Twitter told me that, I need to write off all my expenses. Well, yeah, LLC Twitter is still stuck in LLC Twitter. They haven't even graduated to an S Corp. They've been LLC Twitter for 15 years. Like, you're not making no more money that it makes sense to go into a different tax set. So, you really have to elevate, who you're following and get in alignment with where you're supposed to be going and not solely rely on, our peer groups, right? And that probably came off a little bit shady. And I didn't mean to be that shady, but, the reality is a lot of us are stuck because we want to be the smartest person in the room of our peers, and we're not getting in rooms where people are doing better than us so we can copy them. So
be shady. My people know we come here for the truth. They didn't come on here to hear nothing but the truth. So keep it going. Absolutely. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Stop following broke people. You don't want to be broke. Don't do what broke people do. Go get in spaces where people are moving the way you want to move and ask them the questions that need to be asked. Because if I had it my way, I would have still been trying to write off everything. And not qualified for nothing. Out here trying to do everything with my own cash when whole time there's loans for that. No.
Yes. Love that. No, that's solid, because that's just something that I know, because my family real estate has been for 30 plus years. And then also, people come to me and ask me these questions, and I refer them to you all, the professionals. But I do know, like, at the bare minimum, the writing off of everything is what's really holding us back from being able to show that we're making any money. And like you said, like, we've all been guilty of it, but when you know better, you do better. So anybody listening now, you already know, moving forward, you're not doing that. You already know to do better. So I think that was good. That was gold, and that was a gem. So when we think about tax planning, when we think about entrepreneurship, I think that for me personally, building a business, I've been blessed in the way that I've built businesses. E-commerce is my jam, so my businesses have paid for themselves, right? And so the profit is purely profit that I see. But a lot of people they don't start that way. Most businesses, you're definitely using personal funds and things like that to build a business. So what will you say to someone that's just like, I want to build a business. I have obviously a job that's helping me pay for it, but like, what else can I do? How else can I move some money around? What would you say of, like, what can I do with the existing funds that I have to move some things around where it makes sense for me to have multiple streams of income, like y'all always talking about?
So, okay. So yes, it's good to have a full-time job that can help you fund your business to start, but you have to be intentional with setting a timeline where your business and where your W-2 job and your personal money is no longer financing your business, or otherwise it's not a business, it's a hobby. So like, longest period, maybe 3 years, but in real life, if you can't generate income in that business to cover the expenses in like a year, you need to rethink what you're doing and get serious, right? A lot of us, it sounds good to have a side hustle, and that's why we keep doing it. But the reality is we don't actually want to build anything. So a lot of this is going to come back to honest conversations. Like, do I actually want to put in the energy to figure out how to monetize whatever this thing is? And what is my timeline to give myself before I say, this ain't what I thought it was, and I stop wasting money? So getting serious about, why you really want to go into this, and then tracking the money. So just because your W-2 and your personal income can cover the expenses, that doesn't give you the right to continue to waste money to build a business in a space that's just putting money in the trash. Because now you're messing with your future. Like, you spend all this money having this business, and the business is not businessing. Right? It's not generating any income. So there has to be a point in time where you're like, okay, I have 20 grand to put in this. And if that 20 grand don't come back in 24 months, we're done. All right? Or we figure out how to pivot. But like, we can't just continue to allow these side hustles to drag on and on and on and on for the sake of being a business owner. You are wasting money. That's not smart. So, timelines, tracking the money, like, really see, like, how much did you spend? A lot of us, because we have it, we don't pay attention to it. This W-2 money's coming in, I'm secure. So, I put a little couple thousand every month in there. It's not a big deal. I'm not missing it because it's not impacting my quality of life. But if you didn't have that W-2 and you was putting in $2,000 a month out of a savings account, and your savings account about to get to zero, you would look at it a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So don't use that job as a crutch to continue to fund your mess. If it's not a business, it's not a business.
She said it's a hobby, y'all. She said y'all doing a hobby.
An expensive hobby.
So as we're building our hobby into a business, what systems? So, somebody new inspiring business owners kind of just getting started, maybe a year or two in, or maybe longer, but they really are not there yet where they are doing it full time. What type of processes and systems? Because, I'm an automation advocate. I think that workflows matter. I use QuickBooks. So what tools would you say are good for people to kind of manage their money?
Okay, so sticking just to managing money, I can answer that. I thought you were trying to get me to answer all of them. I'm like, I'm still working on my systems, but okay. So look, we being honest, right? But definitely for finances, leverage some sort of accounting tool. That definitely needs to be one of the first things you invest in. And even if you don't have a huge budget, you can use something like a Wave, which is free to get started. You can even send your invoices through there. I personally like QuickBooks. It connects and integrates with everything you can think of. There's also Xero, Xero, FreshBooks, so many different things to help you manage your books. But like number one, your books got to be tight. So many people missed out on the PPP loans because they had no financials. So you can't get money from the bank if you can't tell the bank where your money at. Like you can't tell the bank how much money you made. You have to be able to show some sort of profit and loss statement, balance sheet to tell them why they should give you money. Otherwise, like, what we doing? So that's probably the biggest thing that you can do, even if you've been in business forever. Like 2023, start fresh. Get you some books in place so that you can go get capital to take your business to the next level and not have to operate on cash. A lot of us are under leveraged, meaning we're not borrowing enough money to grow our business because we don't got our books straight. So like that's the first thing. Beyond that, for your personal finances, of course, there's a great Excel spreadsheet you can leverage to get started. But resources like Mint that help you identify like full picture what's happening with your finances, or you need a budget. Even sometimes your bank might have a tool that tells you where your money's going, but like track your personal finances. And your personal finances should be completely separate from the business. So managing those two things in different places to help keep it clear, your personal net worth versus what the business is worth, and not dumping everything into the business. It's super tempting, right? A lot of us are like, my business is my baby, right? But what happens when the baby is on life support and you put all your money in there and there's nothing left for you, right? So like you have to take care of your personal finances too. So you as the entrepreneur are healthy. And when it's time to sell, right? That not sell the baby, sell the business.
I know what you mean.
You know, you can do that because it's a separate entity. So like those are the two things. A process for managing your personal finances with something like a Mint, or you need a budget, or if you like me and you just like Excel spreadsheets, or leveraging a QuickBooks or a Wave.
So before we get out of here, I definitely want to I want you to tell us more about the For Karma Collective. And before you do, I've seen some recent news about like a reiteration of, I guess, a new law policy that's in place for using Zelle or Cash App and those type of platforms. Like I think if you spend if someone sends you $600 or more, what do we need to know to be careful?
Okay, so a lot of people were using these platforms to hide money they was making. And now you about to get some documentation that's like, no sis, they sent you $4,000 on here. You got to pay taxes on that, right? So, and I think that for a lot of us comes from a place of lack. It's a poverty mindset where we're like, I don't want to pay taxes, but taxes are a part of building wealth, right? Like, only pay your fair share, of course, right? But eliminating this fear of, I'm gonna have to pay taxes on that versus I'm gonna have 70% more money because I'm on the up and up, right? And not allowing the fear of paying more taxes because you're making more money stop you from making more money. That's like you hustling backwards. We want to make more money, right? And then we use the money that we made to figure out how to pay less in taxes, right? You pay the people that know how to do that, right? But the biggest thing is, anytime more than $600 comes into or out of your account, you're going to get documentation showing that this money came out, and you have to submit that with your 1040 when you're filing your taxes. So we got to get around this. I'm trying to be shady and doing whatever it takes not to report everything, because more often than not, if and when you get caught, the penalty is going to be more than the tax you would have had to pay.
Yeah.
Pay the little $3. and and keep it moving, right? Because we know there's so many different ways to reduce that tax liability, but it's easier when you stop trying to hide stuff and not have to remember to lie. Like,
Yeah,
too much
no,
work.
that's real. It
It's too
is.
much
It
work.
really is. It really is too much work. Like I said, I would be remiss if I don't also allow you to tell us more about the Four Comma Collective. If you're just joining us, this is Tremaine Wills, investment advisor, tax strategist, accountant. She was recently named top 50 under 50 by the Association of African American Financial Advisors, top 100 financial advisors by Expedia, nominated for Entrepreneur of the Year by Black Brand and Hampton Roads Regional Chamber of Commerce. Come on, Black Girl Magic. Listen, Tremaine, come on. Yes. She has built the Four Comma Collective. It is a community focused on helping 1 million entrepreneurs grow their invested assets to $1 million over the next 20 years. Tell us about Four Comma Collective.
Okay, so y'all know how earlier I was like, I wasn't trying to be famous, and I was like hiding and all of that. So when I first started this journey, I was so afraid. I was like very scared. I felt underqualified. I felt like, why me? Like, it's not me. Pick somebody else. Like, this is me telling God this stuff, right? It's not me. Pick somebody else, right? Because I was just like, I don't come from money. These people not gonna listen to me. Like, who am I? I knew the call was to help people save and get out of poverty. And so the Four Comma Collective is a group of primarily Black entrepreneurs who are on a mission to close the wealth gap. The goal is to help 1 million Black entrepreneurs grow their invested assets to $1 million over the next 20 years, because it takes time, right? This is not a get rich quick thing. This is like serious. We're building longevity. It's going to take some time. We're going to go slow because most of us are starting from zero. We don't have, huge inheritances that we're getting from, our families. And so we're going to be the first ones to be able to pass on this generational wealth. And so when I started to think about this vision, how it was coming, 1 million times 1 million is 1 trillion. And that's 4 commas. That's 4 commas. And so I was like, there's a collective of us working together to have, 4 trillion, $1 trillion of purchasing power. And that hasn't been done before by a Black woman. And so right. The more I started to think about it, and I was like, this is really a journey. It's a movement. It is it really is, it's bigger than the money, because what I see is just so many more people allowing their wealth to change their community, change their environment. And yes, oh, by the way, millionaires in the making, but how many generations are going to be changed after this? So that's what the Four Comma Collective is. It is a collective of young Black entrepreneurs who are ready to do the work and don't want to do it alone, but understand that it's going to take time and we need a community behind us to pull together when it get hard, because it's not easy to be the first.
Yeah. I love it. So someone asked, how do we join Four Comma Collective?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Every client that I have is part of the collective. And essentially Jada's going to send you a link to participate. But just being committed to growing your assets to $1 million and like it being more than the money, right? Because if it was really about the money, people would be millionaires already. It's not about the money. It's about the transformation that happens when you start to believe in abundance and you start to believe that our dollars matter and what we can do with those dollars. Because this is not a small thing, right? We're talking about relationships that, we about to be putting people's kids on and having like that nepotism type stuff. I want to participate.
Yes, I want
to participate. Like,
I completely understand it. I get it. I can't wait for me to be able to give your niece a job and your cousin a job and put them on and make them the VP of a business that they don't even know about. I can't wait to do it.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Yeah.
But like it takes
we should be able to do that too.
Yeah, but it takes money to do that kind of stuff, and it takes relationships. And so that's what this is all about. It's about, yes, we are growing our assets. Yes, we are, getting rich. But at the end of the day, these are relationships with other people who have a common vision. Like, we wealthy, but we ain't dumb. This ain't just about the money in the bank account. It's about what this money is going to do for our community around us and those coming behind us.
Absolutely, man. This has been amazing. I hope that you all have, man, I'm full. Like, I've learned so much. And as I told you all, by being connected to me, you are automatically connected to some exceptional Black, brilliant minds. And Tremaine is absolutely at the top of that. She has helped me manage my money, so you know that I trust her with you all. So if you have not already, make sure that you have joined my mailing list. If you purchase anything from me, have already worked with me, you're already on my mailing list. You probably got an email earlier this week, but if you're not sure, join it again. You can join it at jadadavis.com. I will be sending you out a special link to connect with Tremaine, as well as to get more information on joining the 4 Comma Collective, because we're trying to get collectively to $1 trillion, just like they do, okay? And so I'm super excited for that. There's more to come, and if you have not already, make sure that you're following the podcast formerly known as Cup of Grind. It is the same amazing content, but new name. It is called Take Flight with Jada Davis, and I am so excited for you all to join me on that journey as we navigate through your journey of launching your next big idea. So, Tremaine, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was amazing. You was preaching. Baby, we had passed the collection plate and everything. Love that for us.
This was great. Thank you so much, Jada. I really appreciate it. It was such a good conversation.
It was, man. Shout out to my mama, Nidra Owens, Reddit popping in, real estate extraordinaire. She is why I know everything that I know about business and able to pour back into my community. So shout out to her for sure. And shout out to Brianna, HR with Style. HR, if you all need an HR consultant, that is my best friend, that she can take care of you. So you all know I'm connected to amazing people, so it does not stop here. But until next time, y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your evening and talk soon. Bye. Later, y'all.